Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Lisa. So I'm going to be doing a deep clean in my dining room today. Honestly, on this day I had a lot on my mind and I really felt a little discombobulated. You know how those days are where you're just kind of moving around and your brain is somewhere else entirely? So that was me. But the thing about homemaking is the house doesn't wait for us to feel perfect. Spring is around the corner, Easter is around the corner, and even when life feels heavy, the work still needs to be done. So I just showed up with whatever energy I had and let the simple tasks just carry me. I wasn't trying to be perfect, I was just trying to keep moving. Sometimes the action of housework is its own kind of therapy. You fold a towel, you wipe a table, you take the curtains down, and little by little, your mind starts to settle. I'm learning to give myself grace on days like this because it's not about doing everything, it's not about doing it perfectly. It's about tending to my home in the capacity that I have, even if that capacity is a little wobbly. So that's what today is, me showing up even though I didn't feel like it, and letting the rhythm of the work help me breathe through the heaviness. So once I got myself moving, I decided to set three main goals for this room. I felt like having a simple plan would keep me focused and productive instead of just wandering around cleaning whatever caught my eye. I picked this chandelier as my first goal because it is a main focal point in the room, and honestly, I wasn't real sure how long my motivation was going to last. And this is one of the jobs you can put off and pretend you don't see until you really can't anymore. This whole thing has definitely seen better days, but that doesn't mean it can't be shown a little love. These globes are major bug catchers. I couldn't even tell you the last time I gave this a proper clean. And it is a little embarrassing, but that's life sometimes, especially out here in the country. Bugs are just a fact of life in the country. I started by giving everything a good wipe down with some Lysol and a paper towel, and then I'm going to use my vacuum to suck out all the little bug carcasses hiding in the bottoms of the little light bulb holders. And once I got all the fixtures cleaned, they looked really good. And then I moved on to the globes, and let me tell you, they were full of dust and fly spots. It was for sure time. So for the little globes, I decided to try out these magic eraser type sponges I found at the Dollar Tree. I've never used them before, so I figured this was a good time to see how well they cleaned and how long they lasted. I sprayed the glass down with Lysol first and then went over everything with the sponge. And honestly, they didn't do too bad. They did better than I expected them to do. They got all of the spots off and all the dust off, and they didn't completely fall apart on me, which that's what I was worried about. I don't think I'd use them again for a big job like this, but for some, light stuff, maintenance here and there, I think they do just fine. They did tend to crumble a little bit, the like white part, the like magic eraser part, but the other side was more like a sponge. The blue part, it was more like a sponge, and it did really good. It stayed together just fine. but the white part got kind of crumbly. But these globes are very textured, so that could have been some of the reason why I thought maybe. Um, but yeah, they were pretty good. They're what I think $1.50, maybe $1.25, $1.50, something like that. So yeah, I thought I would just give them a try, and maybe I'll get them again. I don't know. So after I washed them all down with the Magic Eraser wannabe Dollar Tree sponge, I just wiped them off with paper towel to get all of the little white crumbly bits off. I didn't know if they would come off on their own when it dried or what, so I just went ahead and wiped them off, and they came off really easily. Once I was done cleaning all of the little globes, I just put everything back together. There's these little metal clip things you have to screw in, so I did those as well. I thought it looked really good when it was done. It wasn't a perfect job, but I thought it looked really good. All the fly spots were gone, all of the cobwebs and dust was gone. So, I was pretty pleased with it. And yeah, I know I got some light bulbs out. I'll get to them one of these days, but let's just appreciate how clean the chandelier is. For my second goal today, it was actually washing all of my walls down, all of them. As you can see, I have lots of cobwebs and dust, and I wanted to get all of that done. And it's been quite a while since they've had any real attention. And with them being a light color, plus 5 dogs living with me, grandkids that visit, and a husband, they definitely attract dirt and cobwebs. With the mood that I was in, this felt like it was going to be the most daunting part of the whole clean. But I just kind of fell back on my method of working in sections. That's really keeps me focused. I don't think about the project as a whole, just the one section that's right in front of me. So I chose this part of the wall to start with, and I'm using Mr. Clean because I ran out of my Lysol concentrate, and I forgot to pick more up. But honestly, it's a good cleaner, and it smells really nice, and I like it. And I'm just gonna go over the whole wall um, with my spin mop, and then I'm just gonna touch it up with a magic eraser. I bought a package of those as well. So I cleaned this entire window, the glass, the frame, the wood casing around it, everything. I clean the glass quite often, just usual part of my housework. But I don't really get in there and give it a really good deep clean very often. And honestly, I wash my curtains, and so I didn't want to hang clean curtains on a dirty window. So I made sure that this window was shining before, I moved on. I actually use my wood floor cleaner on the wood. It does a really nice job cleaning the wood without dulling it, and it leaves a nice shine. I don't like to use it on my floor because it makes my floors too slippery, so I use it on like my wood furniture and, my wood casing, and it works really nice. So the more I cleaned, the more centered and grounded I started feeling. And so I decided I'm even gonna scrub the trim along the floor. I decided that I really wanted this wall to be clean, and I mean every inch of it. I started at the top and worked my way all the way down. Um, I seriously, when the more I worked, the more I found myself feeling centered again. And the better the wall started to look, the better I started feeling. It's like the room was slowly waking up, and I was waking up right along with it. This patio door, I did actually spend quite a lot of time cleaning it. I ended up cutting most of that footage out. Honestly, if I had left it in, this video would have been like 2 hours long. So I'm working on another project in this area right now, like right now. So I'll probably show that footage when that project is done. But let me tell you, it was really surprising how dirty this whole like door area was. But you know how it is when you live with something every day, you just go about your life and things can get overlooked. I do clean the glass quite often, but I really haven't paid attention to the frame or the area around it in quite a long time. I do feel a little bad about that, but it is what it is sometimes. Life gets busy and we do the best we can. That's exactly why we have deep cleaning days, though, right? So we can finally stop and notice all the stuff that gets overlooked and built up. So, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and keep moving on. This is the next section of the wall that I wanted to get done. I moved out the cabinet and knocked down all the webs and the dust and gave the whole area a really good scrub. And once the wall was clean, I scooted the cabinet back with Vince's help and I got that all wiped down too. Then I went through everything that had collected on top, all the little extra stuff that tends to pile up, and I only put back what I actually wanted up there. Everything else got officially put away in its home where it belongs. So I just sprayed some of my Lysol concentrate that I have left in my little spray bottle and just sprayed it on a paper towel and just gave everything a really good wipe down. Again, I really just wasn't looking for perfection. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting all the dust off, any smudges, any fingerprints, anything like that. And I also cleaned this little shelf as well and dusted it all down. This is a steel shelf that Vincent made for me. It can hold quite a bit of stuff. So, I just wanted to get the dust off of it and get it put back in place. And that whole little wall section right there is done. Now I'm going to start on the basement door. It's pretty much the same deal, wiping down the glass, scrubbing the frame, all the usual stuff. It's not the most exciting part of the clean, but these high traffic areas get dirty really fast. So it was definitely due for a little love. I used one of those magic erasers from the Dollar Tree on this part, and honestly, it worked pretty well for this particular job. It did crumble pretty quick, but as far as actual cleaning goes, it wasn't too bad. For little jobs, I would say, yeah, I would use it for a little job. I don't know that I would use it for like a whole wall or a door like I am. But it did what I needed it to do. So, I'm not going to complain for $1.25. So it was at this point that I decided this was probably going to be a 2-day job instead of a 1-day job. So basically what you're watching now is the end of day 1. The next morning was the day we had to take Piper to the vet. And looking back at this footage now, it can feel pretty heavy. I remember exactly how I felt that day. But spending the afternoon working hard in this room, preparing for time that I'm going to be spending with my family. it just really it helped me stay grounded for the day. I focused on the moment and on the section that was right in front of me. It kept me from drifting too far into the future. It kept my mind and my hands busy, which is exactly what I needed. I just needed to stay busy. I couldn't think about the day coming up. I didn't want to think about it. And so, I just focused on Easter coming up, on Easter dinner with my kids and my grandkids, and I just stayed busy. The more I worked, the better the house looked and felt, and the better I felt. So after I got everything put back and I got this floor cleaned and then finished putting everything back where it goes. I took the rest of the evening for some basically self care. I made supper for Vince and I, and just kind of relaxed for the evening and prepared for the day ahead. Because of everything that was going on, it took about a day and a half before I actually got back on this project. I just really had to pause for a bit. But when I did come back, it felt really good. It felt like I was picking up from where I left off. It felt like, easing back into my rhythm. After giving myself some grace and taking a small break from cleaning and filming, I did know that I had to jump back into my work. I had things to clean, a video to make, and honestly, having work to do is what helps me feel grounded and focused. So I actually started my third goal, which was cleaning this area here and decorating for Easter. I don't have many Easter decorations, but with the grandkids coming over for spring break, I wanted to have at least something out for them to enjoy. But before I started decorating, I wanted to make sure this whole area was nice and clean. So I moved out the cabinets um, one at a time and very, very gently took down all the little pictures that my grandkids had made for me. Then, I just kind of repeated the process, cleaning the wall, cleaning the shelf, cleaning the floor, basically anything that needed attention. And it just always amazes me how much dust and dirt gets under a cabinet that never moves. You think, oh, it's fine, until you pull it out and realize it's been, hiding an entire ecosystem. So I just washed the wall with my mop and my Mr. Clean, and I used up all of my magic erasers, the Dollar Tree ones and the regular ones by this point. So I just switched back to my regular Scotch Brite sponge. Honestly, those have always worked well for me. So it was totally fine. And while I was scrubbing, I started noticing just how many little dings and bumps these walls actually have in them. And I really think this room needs to be repainted. I might just add that to Vincent's to-do list. I'm sure he would love that. So since this was just such a little section of floor, I just sprayed it down with some of my Lysol and I'm just gonna wipe it off with paper towel. It's not grimy dirt like a high traffic area or something. So it's just really simple just to wipe it down. So I put my cabinets back in place and I gave them a good wipe down. Luckily, my past self was thinking about my future self, and the inside was already clean, so I didn't have to do that. Good job, me. And this cabinet, it really wasn't that bad. It just really needed to be wiped down. Just a few spots here and there. And, it wasn't bad at all, thankfully. So it was just real easy to wipe down again. Paper towel, Lysol spray, and just a good wipe down. Didn't need scrubbed or anything like that. Had some dust on it in the little grooves, but it wasn't bad. Once I get this wiped down, I'm gonna put all of my stuff back up on the upper shelf, and I'm gonna pull out my little Easter decorations. I'm actually kind of excited. I don't have much, but what I do have, I like, and so I'm kind of excited to put them out. And now that I'm actually putting up my decorations, the little amount that I do have, I was actually starting to feel pretty good. What started as a major task, something I was definitely not in the mood for, turned into something that really grounded me. The work helped me release some of the heavy emotions I had been carrying these last few days, and working made it easier for me to choose joy because of what I was working for. And it helped me focus on the holiday coming up. Cooking for my family, spending time with them, that's always a huge gift to me. And honestly, I'm just really glad I had this project to keep me busy and focused. My decorations aren't much, and they aren't fancy, but they'll do exactly what they're supposed to do: bring a little light and love into a room where we all gather. My dining room is literally the heart of my home. When everyone comes over, this is where we spend our time. So, all in all, this week was a hard week. I didn't feel like doing a deep clean, even a little bit. But the thing is I'm the mom and the grandma, and sometimes that means showing up anyway. And this is what I do. I make our house a home during the good times and the bad times. At this point, I'm just finishing up the last of the walls. Same basic routine, wiping everything down and cleaning the shelves. I knew going into this project that it was going to be a struggle to keep my brain focused on what needed to be done. So before I even started, I told myself it was okay to move slow. It was okay if I missed a few details. I gave myself a lot of grace, and I showed myself patience. Falling back on my habit of breaking things into sections and setting clear, achievable goals is what helped keep me grounded and focused. When the job feels overwhelming, those are actually the things that make it feel doable instead of daunting and impossible. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a really hard video for me to make this week, but I'm really glad I did it. My room is ready now for the holiday, and so am I. Just a little side note, when we bought this house and started turning it into our forever home, we knew we wanted a big dining room. This room was actually the kitchen and the dining room combined. We literally moved the kitchen to where it is now, and we gutted this entire room. We tore out the ceiling, put in new insulation, and hung all new drywall. We were definitely beginners back then. We were just two people with a vision for our family and absolutely no idea what we were doing. But now that we have more experience, I can really see all the little mistakes that we made. Just beginner stuff. One day, I'd really love to go back through and fix some of it now that we actually have a better idea of what we're doing. But even with the imperfections, this room has always been the heart of our home. It's where we gather, where we eat, where we talk, where the grandkids play. It's the room we built for moments like holidays and family get togethers. And it's honestly my favorite room with all of the flaws and everything. This week reminded me that sometimes when you have a job to do and life is hard, the roughest part is just getting started. I didn't feel like doing a deep clean, but taking it one section at a time made it possible. And that's the thing. You really don't have to tackle everything at once. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if you're carrying a lot. A little progress is still progress. A small step is still a step. And choosing to show up for your home, your family, and really for yourself, even on the hard weeks, that's what matters. So, if you're in a season where things might be feeling heavy or overwhelming, just remember to give yourself some grace. Break it down, set a few simple goals, and just start with the square that's right in front of you. That's what I did this week, and honestly, I feel like it was enough. I just want to say thanks a lot for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, I'd ask you, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see some more of my content, just hit the subscribe button. And from my family to yours, I wish you a very blessed Easter weekend. And, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.